All right, what's up, everyone? So, Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson got some beef right now, and I think that Tucker Carlson needs to have Nick Fuentes on his podcast to clear the air because there are some things that Tucker said that kind of shocked me a little bit, and what he just randomly just called out Nick Fuentes, saying that he was a weird little gay kid in the basement. And I don't know if you know too much about Nick Fuentes, but he is probably I would say he is the most controversial person out there because he is the person that has been canceled the most. You would think that Alex Jones or Andrew Tate would be. Nick Fuentes, he is the guy that has the biggest target, I would say, because he has been completely removed from the internet. You probably haven't heard of him. If you haven't, it's because of that. All right, but I do want to take a look at what Tucker said. There were a couple of things that he brought up, and just first he applauded Nick by saying he is very good at what he does, has amazing skills, but then he took it a different way later on in the conversation with him and Candace.
And I'm like, well, first of all, this kid's really talented, like legit, and I can assess that just having done the job for so long. So it's like, wow, lots of talent, native talent, and he's attacking my dad. As a CIA, his dad's in the CIA or whatever. And I'm like, well, that's no, untrue. Then my father dies and I learn actually, yeah, was involved in that world. I was completely shocked by it. So no one has to believe me, but that's just a fact.
Right.
This was in March of this year. And I'm like,
all right, so that was, first of all, he calls that out, that Nick Fuentes he says a lot of stuff, and he's not shy about saying stuff that's going to rattle people's cages. And he said stuff about Tucker saying that his dad was a CIA and had something like that going on, and Tucker didn't even know about it until his dad had passed away, and he found out this year that his dad actually was a little bit involved. Who knows? Once you're involved in the CIA, you're involved in the CIA. All right, but later on in the conversation, I want to switch it over where this is where it kind of went off the rails in the remarks that Tucker said about Nick.
Clearly it's
and then
it
was a 180. So it's either A, it's being driven from like a little boy insecurity, and he just was so worried that he just went on the attack because he doesn't know how to have normal relations after being banned everywhere.
Well, I think that
could be one element.
The angry gay kid thing going on. Yeah.
Or it's what you're saying, where he does this, he's lying to everybody and pretending that
he just randomly throws out the angry gay kid, and then he's going to double down on it in just a bit.
Things are one way when it's not. I can say
why is he attacking Joe Kent, who, Joe Kent worked as a CIA contractor, paramilitary contractor. He was in the U.S. military for years fighting our neocon wars. And his wife was killed in Syria in one of those wars. Joe Kent is the single most sincere critic, and I would say the one with the most credibility in the United States to say this foreign policy is bad. It killed my wife. I was a part of it. Joe Kent is actually someone the CIA doesn't like at all because he understands how it operates. And for Nick Fuentes, who's like some child from Chicago, to go after him specifically, one congressional seat in Washington State.
It is random.
It's not random, though. It's the opposite of random. Joe Kent was number one on the list of people they wanted to knock off, people who believe in our neocon foreign policy. They wanted Joe Kent out because he could stand up and say, I actually know. I've got the receipts. My wife was killed in Syria. You had to take that guy out. And Nick Fuentes, this child, this weird little gay kid in his basement in Chicago, is participating in a super PAC to bump off Joe Kent. Like, I've been around this my whole life. I know what that is.
All right, so that is, I actually want to switch over. So Nick actually put out a rebuttal or a response to this whole conversation that happened on Friday with Candace and Tucker. All right, if we just step back, I like all these people. I think Tucker does great work. I think Candace is very strong at what she does. She creates so much great content, and she's very smart. She's not ashamed about anything. She is out on the front line fighting for truth and fighting for what she believes is right. Nick is doing the same thing. They just go about it in completely different ways. But Tucker doing this and labeling these things about Nick, Tucker has a huge platform, and then he goes out there a lot bigger than Nick's at this point, just because Nick has been canceled so vehemently against everyone. And Tucker, I'm saying that he needs to have Nick on his podcast. Bring him on. And there's probably things happening already. I'm sure he's thought about this, but Tucker being a Christian and calling out Nick, who is a Christian like this, and labeling him these things, he needs to clear the air big time because, and I wanted to go into Nick's video, but I don't think we're going to have time to do that. But he needs to bring Nick on so that they can talk through this big time. There are so many things that are just being claimed, like that somebody's almost a fed, that Nick's a fed, and then Nick comes back about it that Tucker's. Are you kidding me? And are you, like, if anyone is, that you're the one that has this whole facade over that you've created, that you're this down-to-earth person that's out in the woods making podcasts, when rather you're the person that's heavily involved in a lot of these things. Either way, I think Tucker will do the right thing and have him on, and just they need to sit down and talk through this. Tucker already, he's made it clear he recognizes Nick's abilities and his skill set and what he's able to do, because he can just riff, go on and on and on and on. And he has so much knowledge behind him. There's so many things I disagree with Nick, and most poignantly is the Israel situation, which probably him and Tucker are on the same page in a lot of things. And the Israel situation, nobody likes right now. And right now, I'm the person, or anyone else out there is supporting Israel. You are the person that is Hitler. You are the person that is the most evil people in the world, because Israel is the epitome of evil right now in this world. History will prove that the people that supported Israel probably are wrong. I'm sure history is going to prove that. But eternity is going to prove that the people that supported Israel were right. So keep that in the back of your mind. And I will say that loud, and not proud, but I will say it loud. All right, I wanted to end at that. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you follow me on X and Instagram at Brandon Fogel. Have a great day. Peace, everyone.
I could see the cracks form in the paint, growing like a fire. What do I say? Can you see them? Can you see them?